Nagdurugo man ang aking puso, hindi para sa atin ang sinumpaang pangako. Maghihintay pa rin kahit sa kabilang buhay. Ang pag-ibig ay hindi mahihimlay, magmamahal at muling magmamahal. Kung di man ngayon, ang bukas ay naghihintay.
Huling alaala na dulot ng iyong liham. Sana sa aking pagwalay, abo nito'y makasama upang kahit sa libingan, tayo'y magkaisa. Paalam, Times, mahal na kaisa-isa.
Hindi ako nagkulang at laging umasa na kahit sa huling pagkakataon, maalaala ating dalisay na pag-ibig na tila ba'y limot na.
Hi everyone, this is Phil again for Randomtales. Few hours from now, the entire world will be celebrating Valentine's Day in the most unique way. It is going to be unique because we are celebrating Hearts Day while in the middle of a pandemic. I know that some of us might not be able to celebrate our Valentine's Day with our loved ones because we could hardly travel, or maybe our loved ones could not come home because of the pandemic. But nevertheless, we would like to make the celebration as meaningful and as beautiful as possible. Here in Random Tales, we're going to have a very unique and a very meaningful celebration of Valentine's Day. As we are not only going to talk about romantic love, but we are also going to talk about love for our country. And we are very lucky because we will be featuring two of the beautiful poems that were written by our fellow Filipinos. These poems are immortalizing the love story of our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal and Leonor Rivera. At ngayong araw na ito ay atin pong makakapanayam ang ilan sa mga tao sa likod ng proyektong ito. Makakapanayam po natin ang mga makatang sina Sir Alwyn Galala at Sir Rado Gatchalian. Gayon din, atin pong makakapanayam ang nagsabuhay sa tula para kay Pepe mula kay Leonor. Walang iba, si Miss Hedda Joy Tady. Hi Sir Alwyn, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Sir, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Well, I'm Alwyn Galala. I belong to the Knights of Rizal. I am here in the United States in Ohio, and my rank is KGOR. And I also have a blog on Facebook and YouTube where I talk about the Knights of Rizal, introduce the members, and also its auxiliary organizations.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Alwyn, and welcome to Random Tales. And also, we are joined by another guests, uh, one of the writers also of the poems that we are featuring this Valentine's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Sir Rado Gatchalian. Hi, Sir Rado, how are you?
Hello, Phil. Good afternoon. So we'd like to greet all your followers and your subscribers in your program, Random Tales. I am Rado Gatchalian, now here based in Sydney, Australia, originally from the Dagupan City. So the same with our notable distinguished Sir Alwyn. I'm also from the Knights of Rizal. I belong to Northern Sydney chapter, KR here in Australia. So same with Sir Alwyn, I also have blogs or advocacy and interest for Rizal. I have Tulat Panulat para kay Rizal. I have what else? Rizal Corner, and then I have a page as well, which is The Philosopher. So basically, I am a writer and a poet, a humble writer and a poet, And we do this for the love of Jose Rizal, for the love of our country. And we pray and we hope that we will inspire our fellow Filipinos wherever we are.
Oh, thank you very much, Sir Rado. Indeed, that is very good advocacy, and I hope that your advocacy will go a long mile, just like the advocacy of Sir Alwyn Galela. Thank you so much for what you are doing for our national hero, and of course for our beloved country, the Philippines. And also, we will be joined by a very good friend of mine. Actually, she was the one who connected me to Sir Alwyn and Sir Rado, and asked me if I could feature their story this Valentine's Day. And of course, I said yes. I know how passionate this woman is. She is an educator, and she's one of those people that I have closely worked with in our advocacy when I was still working in Bangkok, Thailand. And so happy technology connected us back, and I felt like we are closer still this time, even the pandemic, or even if we are miles away. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Miss Hedda Joy Tady. Hi, Ma'am Hedda.
Hello. Hi. Excited to be here.
Yes, how are you? Can you introduce yourself to our viewers from Heads?
Okay, I'm Hedda Tady, and I'm based in Thailand. And I have had the opportunity to work with Phil before in many different projects, but more so towards education in the past. And I am thankful that I got involved with the project of the Knights of Rizal that Sir Alwyn Galela and Mr. Rado Gatchalian are a part of. Tapos, of course, okay, Phil, as I know, is very passionate as well about projects like this. And salamat, okay, na that you are featuring us in Random Tales and this project especially. And my where I'm coming from is I'm an educator, but at the same time I have always been inspired by the stories of Rizal and his not just his sacrifice, but actually I am more inspired by the things that he did, okay, while he lived. And so ngayon ko lang nalaman, I just found out lately that okay, this story between Rizal and Leonor has a deeper meaning. And so thankful that this is being featured for Valentine's Day. It's a more historical and meaningful way of celebrating Valentine's. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Heads. So you're not alone, actually. It's first time for me to learn about the deeper meaning of the love story of Rizal and Leonor. I was more acquainted about the story of Rizal and Josephine Bracken as taught in
Yes.
our college Rizal subject before, but not so much about the love story of Rizal and Leonor Rivera. Um,
Mm.
Hopefully, Sir Alwyn and Sir Rado would be able to shed some light on the love story of Rizal and Leonardis in our feature.
Kulang na lang
So,
ng isa, Voltes 5 na tayo.
yes. Okay. So I was actually talking to Sir Alwyn earlier while we were preparing for the broadcast. I was talking to Sir Alwyn earlier. I'm pretty familiar of the Knights of Rizal because I am an alumna of the National Rizal Youth Leadership Institute. I represented our school way back in 2003, and because of that, I got into the Kamatayang Pangarap ni Rizal. So but for sure, I like the advocacy of the Order of the Knights of Rizal, and for sure, there are lots of viewers out there who do not know yet what the Knights of Rizal is all about. So maybe Sir Alwyn and Sir Rado, can you tell us more about the Order of the Knights of Rizal?
Well, this project was started by this group. We don't have official affiliation with the Knights of Rizal. We just happen to be Knights of Rizal who believes in spreading the works and writings of Dr. Jose Rizal. But the Knights of Rizal is an organization. It's a fraternal organization. It's been around since 1901, and so it's almost 110 years now since
Oh.
its inception. It is the only organization that is international in nature and headed by a Filipino. Uh, we are headquartered in Manila, in the Philippines. And like you said, our one of our advocacy is training the young kids to follow the saying of Dr. Rizal na ang kabataan ng pag-asa ng bayan.
Okay, thank you, sir. And get into your interest towards the lives and works of Rizal.
Well, actually, my friend who is a Methodist pastor uh, from the Philippines. We just happened to see each other by accident here in Cleveland, Ohio, and I think he was just new to the Knights of Rizal too. I think he was just 2 years into the Knights of Rizal, and he invited me over to join.
Okay, and how about you, Sir Rado? Paano po kayo nasali sa sa Order of the Knights of Rizal, and how did you start with your interest towards the life and works of Rizal, sir?
Okay, thank you for that question. Actually, bata pa lang ko, I've been so interested with the life of Rizal. I don't know if this is such a compliment, but I feel so humbled. Some people even called me, some of my closest friends even called me Jose Rizal. I don't know if I look like Jose Rizal for what apparent reason, but somehow I was trying to live the epitome or the life of Rizal in my own life. Somehow I do write as well. I do write poetry. I do write essays, and of course I love so many passions like Jose Rizal. So the same question that you asked with Sir Alwyn, paano ba ako na-involved sa Knights of Rizal? I've been wanting to be a Knight of Rizal even before in the Philippines when nung nagtuturo. I even taught Rizal subject back home in the Philippines at University of Luzon and Urdaneta City University. I taught subject Rizal as well. So even before, I was wanting to be a Knight of Rizal, but somehow, like Jose Rizal, rebellious and radical thinker, I've been so rebellious as well. And then eventually, I said to myself, I don't need to be a Knight of Rizal because even Jose Rizal is not a knight. I was trying to philosophize. But then when I moved to Australia, the first thing that I tried to research as well was the group Knights of Rizal here in Sydney. But somehow for a personal reason and for my personal journey, I didn't join straight away because sabi ko, kailangan ko bang hubugin ang aking sarili bilang isang follower ni Rizal. And with the perfect timing, I was accidentally, mysteriously, I met a person, Sir Bob Alipalo. They were trying to organize a new chapter in my area, in our area. And then it's like magic. Then I was part of the founding of the Northern Sydney chapter. I mean, the order was trying to call me. I think there's a vocation, even though I didn't want it. I think because I was living the life of Jose Rizal. Somehow I said to myself, I had no choice but to be part of this order. And then, yeah, that's how it started. I really love our national hero in my whole mind, in whole heart and whole soul. Even if I visit different communities or different families, I always talk about Jose Rizal. I always talk about our country, and basically, perhaps because not necessarily because of Jose Rizal, but because we love our motherland so much.
So I can really feel the love for the motherland that you have. Uh, it's really burning from within, Sir Rado.
Hopefully, it's contagious. Our patriotism, our love for Jose Rizal to be effective must be contagious.
Mm.
That's probably, how would I say, that's the magic of the advocacy. If we are an advocate or somehow even a writer, a poet, we should be passionate. And somehow when we speak, we would influence and we would inspire our fellow Filipinos. Like Sir Alwyn, what he's doing now, and Hedda, what she's doing, is actually truly helpful for our country.
Right. I definitely agree with you, sir. And then this is a segue. I think this has little to do with what the Knights of Rizal is doing, or what this advocacy is, what this feature or Valentine's feature is all about. But I have noticed that as Filipinos, actually, because I worked outside the country before, I worked with Maheda in Bangkok, Thailand. So the farther you go from your country, the deeper your appreciation towards your country. And then the more developments or the more experiences that you get from other country, the more that you wish that I hope that my fellow countrymen would also experience the same thing way back home, especially my loved ones. Is that something that you have felt also, Sir Rado, while
Yeah,
being
actually,
away from country?
you got it correctly. That's the irony of everything. We love our country so much, yeah, without a question. And then we move to another country, and then as soon as we move to another country, that's the time we realize that we even love so much our motherland. It's quite ironical because it's quite a journey. We tend to move towards another country trying to forget our country to have a better life, but somehow there's something lacking or empty because there's something more essential than what we are now, and that is in our hearts. And the thing that is lacking in our heart is our motherland. I'm here now in Australia, but my heart is empty. My heart is lacking. It's lacking because my roots, my country is very, very far away from me. It's in the Philippines, of course. And because of that, I would say, ill situation, we crave for the love, like Sir Alwyn and Hedda. Napalayo tayo sa ating bansa, but we're trying to still find who we are as a person, who we are internally, and then we can only find ourselves if we are able to find our motherland. Kumbaga, it is in our soul. That's why the more that we go away from our country, the more that we miss our country. Same thing with love. Same thing when we are in love. If the person that we're in love with are very, very far, the more that we long for that person. It's the same with our country. And I think even Sir Alwyn and Hedda can explain or even elucidate their experience.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Rado. So, how about Sir Alwyn? Do you have the
Um,
same experience, sir?
well, as you know, Rizal spent most of his adult life abroad. He's a different person. He's a once in a million years person. One of the former and Riley alumni told me that he's like a comet once in 1,000 years. He did. I guess we shouldn't really think that because we're far away from our motherland, like you know, Hedda is in Bangkok, Rado is in Australia, I'm in Ohio. That we should forget our motherland, just like Rizal. In his heart, he had the welfare of the country, and he had the secret mission, even outside. And it took him to be apart and really look from up afar and see how the actual situation in the Philippines is, and to further understand and broaden his ideas about um, liberty, about um, the atrocities, unfairness, and humanity that is prevailing around the world and not in the Philippines.
Sir Phil, if I can add, no, because ang ganda rin nung sinabi ni Sir Alwyn, but I also want to share because one of my favorite writers is F. Sionel Jose. He was asked before kung ano daw yung pinaka nasakit na naramdaman niya bilang isang tao, yung umiyak siya talaga. You know what, he shared his story. Nasa, I think he was in Japan. He literally cried habang nasa train siya because naramdaman niya yung sinasabi mo malayo tayo, di ba? And then that instance he felt his intense love for our country na kusa na lang lumuwa yung mga mata niya. And you know what, without being arrogant or something, I also felt the same thing. There were many periods in my life, especially here in Australia. Somehow, lumuluhan na rin yung mata ko ng kusa. I don't know if I'm so much in love with our country. Pero pag ang bawat isa sa atin nakaramdam ng ganong feeling, that's the intense love for our country when we cry involuntarily and think about our country. Kasi sa katulad nito, for example, I am Sydney. I am living in a very developed and rich country. And somehow, I think about our fellow countrymen na naghihirap. And then we cry because, look, ang ganda-ganda ng ng buhay natin dito sa ibang bansa. And yet, we hope our motherland, the Philippines, will have the same privilege, the same benefits, the same comfort. That's why we cry so much.
Okay. I really love the conversation. Now, it's Valentine's Day, and we're talking about love of our country, love for our national hero. It's a very intimate kind of love, should I say.
And
Okay,
you know
so
what, Phil, just to add, that's how we should celebrate Valentine's Day. Somehow it's becoming mainstream. If we talk about Valentine's Day, it's all about the romantic feelings
Roses and
between
chocolates.
man and a woman. But you know what? There's a deeper sense of Valentine's Day. We should our love, our passion, our feelings for our motherland, our country should also be celebrated during Valentine's Day.
I totally agree, Sir Rado. That's why I'm very glad to be part of this project and featuring this kind of project for the first time in Random Tales vlog. So it's actually a very new channel. We just started last January. We have very limited number of followers, but we have so much dreams, not only for myself, maybe, but also for the random people that I will be meeting and for the random advocacies and projects that I will be encountering later on. So now let's move on to Ma'am Hedda. I've worked with Ma'am Hedda for a very long time in Bangkok, and she's also a very passionate teacher. And not only that, she has been so active in nation building activities, even if she's far away from the Philippines. I remember, I think, few years ago when we were hit by Typhoon Haiyan, and we were doing this outreach activity. We were doing this rebuilding projects. Ma'am Hedda was actually one of those first people who reached out to me and asked me, Phil, how can I help? These are the things that we can do here in Bangkok, and we can send out our help there to the Philippines. So, Ma'am Heads,
Hi. Yes, talking about, I'm just gonna add kung ano yung sinabi, what Sir Alwyn and Sir Rado said about passion for country. That when you're outside, okay, when you have, yung sinabi nga ni Rado, when you are looking at something from a distance, parang you have more of a time and an opportunity to see it for what it is. And so you learn to appreciate what's there and what's lacking. And I think from my advocacies and as Phil has said, the movements that I've tried to kind of help out and organize, like in Rise Filipino, and now I'm working with Rado on Be Remarkable. What I'm trying to actually feature are the people who have lots of gifts, who are generous and who are compassionate. So because there's so much to do for our country, and when you are outside, and like Rado has said, when you see there's so much going on that could be improved in our country, that could be contributed to our country, and so you feel like you wanted to contribute and give a little bit of your own value or contribution to it in terms of nation building. And I think one of the things that I have actually experienced and I've seen firsthand is when I was working with you, Phil, here in Bangkok, and we have been talking about this a lot, is that the Filipinos have so much to offer. When we are outside, we become exceptional workers. We are very passionate, but our work ethics kind of changes. And I think we become a little bit more, how do you say this? Okay, I think we expect more from ourselves when we are outside. It's and it's also because we want to keep whatever kind of value that we have got from the outside. But at the same time, I think all of us experience or have this longing to be able to help out in what little ways we can towards our country. And I think, especially for this project, I would like to say something about this project, because I feel na when you're outside, you're speaking English so much or a different language, nakakalimutan. We tend to forget our the beauty and what's wonderful about our language. And I think one of the reviewers, who is also a Knight of Rizal, Mr. Sir Chow Chua, has said something about that this form of poetry is kind of being forgotten. And I think to give light, or to let it shine, is really a meaningful project, and it's really valuable for everyone. I think, especially for Valentine's Day, it's a different kind of love. Yun.
I can feel so much love in the air right now. And this is a very different kind of love. So we're 2 days away, approximately 2 days away from celebrating Valentine's Day, and very excited to release this video because this could, I believe, this could go a long mile in, encouraging or inspiring among Filipinos
Mhm.
wherever they are, to develop that deep sense of love for their country, for the motherland. Okay,
Mhm.
so before we get into a different kind of love. So I think it is good time for us now to talk about the project, ang Walang
Mhm.
Kamatayang Pag-iibigan ni na Pepe at Leonor, which, as I have mentioned earlier, I never got to know more about their love story until this time. Okay, so uh, maybe Sir Alwyn, would you like to tell us more about the love story of Pepe and Leonor being the the highlight of this Valentine's Day presentation?
Well, I think the love story of Pepe and Leonor is very endearing to Filipinos, especially as we say uh, long distance LDR, long distance relationship. Uh, and the beauty of this is that there's a um, a story that's pure, and it's cinematic, and it's also very dramatic. Imagine from a very young age, Rizal fell in love with Leonor, his second cousin actually,
Mhm.
while they were in La Consolacion with Maria Rizal. They were classmates, and but he had a greater love for the country, and he left even though he found Leonor, who was beautiful, talented, and from a very good family. And just like in the Philippines, we sometimes good life outside the Philippines, the dollar sign sometimes, and opportunity that we don't see in our country drives us away from our country. So Rizal had to choose between love of country and personal love, and it so happened that he did not give up with this love, even though it's in the span of 10 years he was writing until such time that he never really received any more response through his mail. And then that is because the mother of Leonor did not agree with Rizal's politics and how it would affect the future of Leonor. So he talked to the mailman and bribed him so that the mail wouldn't reach Leonor. And it was too late then when she found out about the letters, and she already said okay that she would marry the English engineer, um, and and a different kind of love. Leonor wanted to respect his mother's wish. Leonor did not wanted his mom to save face, and went on with the wedding until such time she said that she will not ever sing again, and she will not ever play the piano again. She is a very good piano player. And after 2 years in uh, eight, 18 eight, 1880 oh no 1893, I think that's when she died after giving birth to her second child. And even then on his grave, the ashes of the letters was part of his was part of her grave.
Wow, it's a very beautiful story.
Mhm.
Sir Rado, would you like to add more about that?
So I am really glad that Sir Alwyn, and have to thank him for giving us the historical, factual background of the love story between Pepe or Rizal and Leonor. You know what? So Sir Alwyn gave us the historical background, and let me give naman the psychological or moral implication of this, and Rizal as a hero. You know what? The story of Rizal, that tragic love story between Leonor and him, it just reminds us that Jose Rizal is also a human being like us. Because for us Filipinos, we always look up to Rizal as a Superman, as kumbaga, he has everything, he has accomplished everything. But somehow with this story that Sir Alwyn had shared with us, even a strong person, a strong, very strong person like Jose Rizal had felt suffering. You see, if we are able to relate with this story of Rizal, we would even appreciate Rizal more, na we would understand him like, look, even pala si Jose Rizal ay nabigo, nasaktan, kumbaga napakalayo niya sa Pilipinas. For 10 years silang magkasama in a relationship. I mean, hindi magkasama. For 10 years yung relationship nila on a long distance. And yet, he how would I say it? He tried his very best to maintain the 10 years, but eventually, at the end, it failed. See that? If you experience that same love story, you'll be depressed. A person will somehow be very, very sad. Like the person, the woman that you love was already married to another person. Imagine that scenario. If we will just uh, try to reflect the story that Sir Alwyn had shared with us, it will sink in to us as Filipinos that we can all relate, especially marami sa mga Pilipino nangingibang bansa. Imagine that situation that a parent, a mother has to go to Middle East to work as a domestic helper or as a nurse or whatever. Iiwan nila yung mga mahal nila sa buhay, their husband and the family. Imagine that situation. Now, our national hero, the cosmopolitan being, the intellectual person, had experienced the same. So lumalabas pa rin na in spite of Rizal's achievements, Rizal is also one of us. He is one of us who experience sadness and failure in life. And when we read the story of Leonor and Rizal, somehow we feel sorry for Leonor more. We feel sorry for Leonor more. And even with Rizal, the sacrifices that they experience. Imagine Leonor being married to a man na hindi naman niya talaga mahal because she was really in love with Rizal. Factually, based on what Sir Alwyn said, even to her death, she wanted Rizal beside her. I mean, through the letters, through the ashes of the letters, that represents the image of Leonor being with Rizal even up to her death. Imagine that scenario. If we will try to reflect on that, that is so much, that is so deep, di ba? Na kung mamamatay ka, ang itatabi mo sa iyong coffin ay yung ashes ng sulat ng pinakamama mo. That's very, very deep. Even it only shows na kahit na pala ikinasal si Leonor kay Mr. Keeping, kinasal lang sila sa papel at sa mata ng simbahan, pero ang nasa puso pa rin ni Leonor hanggang kanyang kamatayan ay walang iba kundi si Jose Rizal. Kaya ngayon nga nandito pa rin tayo ginawa namin ni Sir Alwyn ang kumbaga binuhay nating muli ang pagmamahalan at pag-iibigan ni Leonor at Pepe. Kasi sapagkat ako naniniwala na kahit na namatay na sina Leonor at Rivera, nagmamahalan pa rin sila kung nasaan man sila ngayon.
So the more love that we feel right now.
Yan ang natin para
Yes.
sa lahat ng mga Pilipino na ma-inlove ulit. Hindi lang bilang isang tao sa ibang tao, kundi ma-inlove tayo sa buhay ng ating pambansang bayaning Jose Rizal.
Yeah. So earlier, I was actually listening to the poem that was interpreted by Ma'am Hedda, and then I was thinking that I was able to internalize all the love that Leonor had for Rizal by listening to her interpretation. Pero while doing the interview right now, uh, I realized that there's more about it.
Or
Mhm.
Yes, and then Sir Alwyn actually gave us a very good reflection or a very good uh, historical background about their love. So I somehow see saan hinugot ni Sir Alwyn yung tula niya
Yes.
para kay Pepe.
Mm.
Okay. So Ma'am Hedda, you were the one
Yeah.
who interpreted that song. How did you feel na ininterpret mo yung song na yon?
Um,
Not song, at
it was
poem.
tula
O
poem.
tula. Oo.
Okay. When Rado told me that, nako, merong sagot sa tula that he made, okay? And then kailangan ng Leonor. And so, and then I said, kaya ko ba? It's in Tagalog, okay? And I'm an Ilongga and I haven't spoken Tagalog because like every day the medium of instruction is in English. And so, and it's 25 years that I've been doing communication in English every day. So I said, oh my gulay. So, but I felt that it was something that I need to kind of, you know, I need to give my 120% to the project because I felt like this is like an honorable thing to do. And it's an opportunity for me to kind of add to what I have been doing in terms of nation building. And I felt like, okay, I gotta be Leonor. So that was actually like morning time here, which was so when I got the poem, I thought, okay, I got out of bed and I said, I might as well do this now, okay, while everyone is asleep, and then I can focus. But when I read the poem, okay, Sir Alwyn, it was it was hard emotionally. It was very heavily laden. It was more than just deep. It's and every time I talk about it and every time I see it and every time I have to deliver it, okay, I have some emotional experiences, okay, that are not, okay, kind of regular, not normal. And I think it has something to do with the fact that, okay, Rizal's, as they have been saying, as the poets have been saying, Rizal's life is really something that we Filipinos need to appreciate more, because it's more than just dying for country. It's a whole lifetime of a commitment to nation building and to freedom. And then Leonor, okay, who wasn't even really historically being talked about in our readings and in our experiences in our studies of Rizal, had had an impact on Rizal because she was the one that Rizal said, okay, he's gonna marry. So she was the chosen one. And we know from our own life experiences that when you have a love that kind of feeds you, you also, it kind of spreads, okay, to the rest of your life. And so Leonor, I have just come to appreciate it through Sir Alwyn's poem and Mr. Rado's work, that she has actually kind of become she was a very big part of the whole sacrifice of Rizal. And so, how do you say it? So when I had to recite the poem, I think I read it maybe 2-3 times. I listened to myself, okay, on audio once or twice. And then I had to park Hedda somewhere else and become Leonor. Become Leonor in the sense that Rado fed me some information about their life story, who she was, what she did. And then I found out also, and the Knights of Rizal could correct me if I'm mistaken about this. And I think Rado mentioned this, that Pasiano and I think Jose Rizal kind of had some kind of a pact that only one of them, in order for nation building, in order for the fight for freedom to be given an opportunity to rise, only one of them is going to get married. And I think it was Pasiano who kind of was going to get married first, or something like that. And so there's a lot, okay, in terms of the story, and it's the word anguish between the two who love each other does not even kind of encapsulate what it was all about. So, yun.
Yes, Ma'am Hedda, I actually felt the emotion while listening to the poem na ininterpret mo. And I was asking myself, is Hedda crying in the middle
Yes,
of...
I was.
Okay.
It's not being carried away. It's actually, and I think it's not me. Okay, it's their work. It's the poet's work, because I had to listen to Rado's poem
Mhm.
first. So I listened to his delivery of the poem first, and then I before I could do justice to Sir Alwyn's. It's not me. Let's just say that, okay, the winds, okay, were taking us to where this project needs to go. That's all.
I think I need to correct you. I think it's you. I think I don't think anybody can read that poem and give it justice. Um, it was really perfect. The pitch, the emotions. You can really feel Leonor talking to herself about
That's what
Rizal.
I was hoping to let out, that it's not me, but this is Leonor who is telling her story, her part of the story, because, okay, this is a whole country, that a whole nation that benefited from the sacrifice of two people who loved each other, but, okay, kind of had to make some decisions that they cannot be together. Ganon. Mm.
Well, Mom Heads, I have to be very honest.
Yes.
Actually, when you told me about this feature, if I'm willing to feature this Valentine's Day special, I was kind
Mhm.
of hesitant because we've always been talking about nation building, and then
Yes.
oh, all of a sudden, Mom Hedda is talking about the love of Rizal and Leonor. She became so romantic, and now while doing this interview, I realized so many things. I realized
Mm,
that what we are doing here and what you are doing here is more than just studying the romance of Leonor and
yes.
Jose Rizal. It's all about the sacrifices that they had to make for nation building. And I hope that everyone would be able to see that and that
Mhm.
we will all rise as a country.
It's rice Filipino still.
Rise, Philippines. So, Sir Alwyn, what came first? Yung pagsulat ng tula or yung decision that you are going to have a Valentine's Day special?
I don't think it was a conscious decision on either or, but I know um, it was kind of like I was saying. Sometimes it's a Filipino story, the LDR, because that was part of my story. My wife left to go to graduate school, and we wrote each other for 8 years until we saw each other. She left 87, and I didn't come to the states until 92, and that's of course in between that she would go home in the Philippines and we'll see each other. But the letters worked in the communication and to express our love as a friend back then. But words really have a lot of meaning, has a lot of power, and I don't think we would have ended up together if without for those letters, and I still have them. And so I was inspired with that,
Yes.
with that background, my personal um, story. That's why maybe if you read the poem, there's a lot of emotions. Obviously, we end up differently, but the main crux of the story is there.
Mm.
Mhm. Okay, so
Yeah.
Sir Rado, how about you?
Valentine and Valentine.
With me, I would just like to share with you the historical background of this project for our viewers' information. Sir Alwyn, I think it was New Year's Eve or New Year's Day 2021, December 30, 2019, 2020. Yeah. So we're able to get in touch through social media, through Facebook. He actually interviewed me first for his blog, Musings of a Knights of Rizal. And then same with Sir Alwyn and same Rado, like you see now, I'm very, very passionate when I share my stories and when I talk. And somehow probably we enjoyed our discussion, and then Sir Alwyn and I felt like we have some missions to do for for the Knights of Rizal, for the Philippines, for Rizal. So I said to Sir Alwyn, hopefully we will have more projects to come and more collaboration. But I didn't expect that that will be so quick from December, and now it's February. Then he messaged me way back in January. I don't know if it's January, if I could write a poem for Leonor speaking as Rizal. But it took me probably 2 weeks. I don't know. I was so busy, and even Hedda knows this. I was so busy with many, many things, and I almost forgot to write this poetry poem. But I have my own reminder in my mind as well. This is long overdue. I have to do this for Sir Alwyn, and I have to message him as well. Sir Alwyn, don't worry. It's on my list. It's taking like 2 weeks already, but it's on my list. I will do it because there's so many projects happening at the same time. And then uh as a writer and as a poet, I just need inspiration, and because I really feel Rizal in my heart and the story of Leonor and Rizal's love story. So one night I just sit on my chair, wrote that poems para sa aking Maria Clara, sa aking Maria Clara. So that's how it started. So I have to really highlight that this is the brainchild of Sir Alwyn. If he didn't ask me to write a poem, we will not be having this discussion now. So because of that challenge, he challenged me, Rado, would you like, or do you already have? Because he probably knew I already have some poetry before, a love poems. I already have, but this is for Rizal, this is for Leonor. I said to myself, I have to make a very special poem for Leonor. And because I took the challenge that Sir Alwyn has given to me, and then I sent my poem to him through Messenger, and then all of a sudden I was like somehow, oops, there's a reply from Leonor. I wasn't expecting it. All I thought was Sir Alwyn will just feature a poem from me for Leonor writing as Pepe. But then when he said he wrote a poem as a response, him as Leonor, I was like, oh wow, this is like an exchange poetry, an exchange letters between Rizal and Leonor. And then he asked me, because this poetry in response to my poetry is Leonor. So a woman has to read this poem because Sir Alwyn wanted me to recite the poem as well. So it would be bad if the poem in reply to me would be recited by a man. So it has to be a woman. And it so happened that in between, I have how would I say? I'm communicating with Hedda as well, and then I've been trying to probably influence her as well with the life and works of Rizal. So I said to her, Hedda, are you ready for this? Sir Alwyn, we have this project and we need a lady who will read a poem as Leonor. And then I shared to Hedda my poem. And then they read that first, and then I will give to you the reply of Leonor written by Sir Alwyn. And then from that point in time, so she has to record it, and we have, so the three of us are communicating. But first, it's just between Sir Alwyn and me, and then Rado and Hedda. And then eventually, because this is now like a mini big project, the three of us need to talk to each other. And then
And then there's Phil.
from then on, we recorded, and Sir Alwyn did so many teasers or promotional YouTube clip. And at the same time, I had to write some articles. and we asked some of our friends to support for this mini project, and we have here in Australia as well in different radio stations playing our poetry, and now Hedda with you, and then Sir Alwyn with his friends as well. So now from that one point of question, Rado, can you write a poetry for Leonor? Now here we are. It's now like a movement of love, a movement of passion, and you wouldn't believe, like, if we will just stop and think, how come we are now talking to each other? You are in Cebu, Sir Alwyn is in Ohio, USA,
Yeah,
Hedda is
four
in Thailand.
different time zones.
Yeah, I am in Sydney, but there's some magical force happening among all of us, and probably the spirit of Rizal is so strong that he's trying to pull Sir Alwyn, Sir Rado, and Hedda, and you feel to come into this kind of project.
It's time.
Yeah, indeed. Right. And I did not expect so much about this particular project actually, because I was thinking that it's going to be a simple reading of poetry, and I did not ask so much questions to Ma'am Hedda when she told me if I could go ahead and feature this.
Mhm.
So I just said, okay, just give me the audio and then I will upload it. That's it. Right. So that was what I
Uh,
was thinking. I did not think
Sir
of.
Alwyn, I didn't even expect this. So, Sir Alwyn, you're the culprit of this project.
Salarin.
Yes.
Salary.
Yes, and most probably this community will grow, or the network will grow because of this. I could see everyone's passion, the passion of Sir Alwyn, the passion of Sir Rado, Ma'am Heda's passion actually in
All
putting
of
things
us.
together. The
And Sir
the opportunities
Phil,
here.
Sir Phil, I just have to clarify, we didn't plan this project in the first
No.
place. We didn't consciously plan, like, way back in December. All right, February, it's Valentine's Day. We need to make this project. We'll have this poetry reading, a letter from Rizal, and then Leonora replying, and then we will record. We will do this video clip.
Mhm.
Never did it happen in our mental planning that we will have. It just so happened like this. It's a power.
I
It's
just
magic. Hmm.
I need to add something. Okay, so first it was just the poem that Rado made, and then there was an answer from Sir Alwyn, and then so I interpreted it, and then then it just kind of grew organically. After that, meron ng teaser. Kasi Sir Alwyn got also inspired. Okay, we have to make a teaser. Then we added some other people. Jib as part of this, they're doing an artwork. And then now, we're expanding. Like yesterday, there were so many other things that were added. It's just I feel that, and I'm thankful really for the Knights of Rizal, for Rado and Sir Alwyn, and for you, Phil, that this project is rising. It's because it has a life of its own. It has taken a life of its own.
And
Mm.
indeed, this is one of the beautiful stories that I should be featuring in Random Tales. Very random.
Yes.
Right? I did not
Yes.
plan it out.
Very
Very
random.
random. So at first I was thinking, well, I'm going to feature this story. It does not actually coincide with the content of my channel, because the content of my channel is all about random kindness, random stories of passion, compassion, and all. But never did I know that there is so much that is going on in
Randomness.
this project. There is so much randomness, and much more than that, there is so much passion, there's so much compassion, and there's so much love for the country
Mm.
that I will get from you. And I'm just very excited to release this
Mm.
story out. Okay, and I hope that we would be able to collaborate more in the future. So,
Yes.
talking about collaboration, Sir Alwyn, what what's the direction of the project? So where are we heading to after the uh,
Actually, we're looking for a director to direct the play.
Yeah,
mm,
never know. That's not impossible.
online?
Gagawin ng movie.
No, because actually, I asked a friend of mine, just like what Hedda was saying. It's an organic. It took a story of its own. I have a
Mm.
friend from UP. and he's a composer, and he has a YouTube as well. And so I asked him to turn the poem into a song,
Mm.
and I had one of my friend from high school listen to it, and he really liked it, and he actually has connections with the film industry in the Philippines. So I don't know, who knows, right?
We were just making jokes about this, okay, that we're gonna make it into a movie, and then Sir Alwyn said, "Okay, we are very low budget film,"
No budget.
Well,
No budget.
and
It's
then Rado
actually a no
said, "No
budget.
budget at all."
the opportunities are unlimited. Okay, we don't know
Yes,
where this project is
yeah,
going to
and
head
and
to
and
lead.
Phil, we're trying to get Tyra to sing the song.
That's right.
Oh,
That's how it has taken a life of its own, and
Yeah,
wow.
we're
this
trying.
guy.
Mm,
Go,
sorry,
go.
and I'm going to challenge you, Phil, to read, okay, Rado's poem next.
Good. We take the challenge.
Yes, Sir
uh,
Alwyn.
Yeah.
I'll maybe,
And
maybe.
then my friend who has a background in the cinema, he really liked it. He said para daw sa pelikula, yung parang trailer ng pelikula ang takbo ng song. So he has an
Mm.
ear for it. So maybe ewan ko lang, baka binabola lang ako nun.
No, I don't think so. I think the depth of the words really is there, and I think the two poems. Okay, that's what I have come to love about the poems because of Rado's poems, and now Sir Alwyn's. Okay, it's that very short lines can encapsulate a whole lifetime, and that's the beauty of it, and it's a wonderful thing.
And there's one thing that I envision from this conversation. Right now, most of our children are actually studying Romeo and Juliet as their material. Well, hopefully
Mm,
later on, yung sagutan ni Sir Alwyn and Sir Rado ang ating mababasa when we
yes,
study poetry, no? They will
yes.
yung sagutan ni Leonor at ni Pepe ang ating mababasa, and we'll have more of these kinds of literature and materials in our schools, no?
And in our language,
In our
sa ating
language.
wika. Mhm.
Yes. Oh. And I felt so much love for the Filipino language. Like Ma'am Hedda, I seldom speak in Filipino because I grew up speaking Bisaya,
Mhm.
and usually our second language is English because yeah, the moment we go out of our comfortable languages. So English agad, okay. But
Mhm.
yes, we have so much appreciation indeed for Filipino language, and I hope that we would be able to do something about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Nice.
uh, Sir Alwyn, anything? No, Sir Rado, anything that you would like to add?
Just to add, with this project, actually, we're hitting many birds in one stone. As you said,
Mhm.
we speak about sinabi mo nga yung love for literature, poetry. First and foremost, we would like to inspire people to love our motherland, Philippines country, through promoting the teachings and life of Jose Rizal. So that's two birds already. Thirdly, we want to promote, lalo na ako, I speak in Tagalog. I write so many of my poetry in Tagalog. I also take part in Balagtasan here in Sydney, Australia. Nagsusulat ako sa Tagalog. Lagi kong pinagmamalaki at inihikayat ang aking mga kababayan dito sa Sydney, Australia at kahit sa ibang bansa na panatilihin natin ang ating pagmamahal sa wikang Pilipino. Actually, when we were starting this discussion, you started in English, so I wasn't aware that it's English because in my mind I was ready to speak completely in Tagalog because my poetry is Tagalog. But of course, I
Yeah,
have
I
to be
actually practice, sir. I
flexible.
tried to record myself speaking in Filipino, so
That's fine. That's fine.
but I realized that baka ano.
That's okay. So that's why, yeah. So we promote our language as well, ang Filipino. And then pang-apat, we would like Filipino people to be more intellectual in the sense that we appreciate arts and literature. Kasi ilan na lang sa atin,
Yes.
lalo sa mga new generation, ang nakaka-appreciate ng literatura, lalo na ang poetry. You know, if we love our arts and culture, mas nakikilala natin ang ating sarili bilang isang Pilipino. Kaya ang mga bagong generation, the more that they forget to love literature, history, and culture, the more na hindi nila nakikilala ang sarili nila. So in this form of poetry, we hope, Sir Alwyn, Hedda, and I, we really hope to inspire our fellow Filipino people all over the world na yun nga, ibalik natin yung mas meaningful at mas malalim na pagkilala sa ating sarili bilang isang Pilipino, at yan ay nakikita sa pagmamahal sa ating sariling wika, pagmamahal sa ating mga literatura, pagmamahal sa ating kasaysayan, at higit sa lahat, pagmamahal sa ating inang bayang Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat, Sir Rado, para sa isang napakagandang mensahe. Yes. So indeed, we have to develop that deep sense of love for our country, for our language, for our identity as Filipinos. So I think before we end this interview, I did not hear actually I did not hear Sir Alwyn reading a part of his poem kasi it was Ma'am Hedda who read it. So I would love to hear a line maybe of the poem, Sir Alwyn, yung Saan Ka Aking Mahal.
Hindi ako nagkulang at laging umasa na kahit sa huling pagkakataon, maalaala, ating dalisay na pag-ibig na tila ba'y limot mo na. That's one
Wow.
of the stanzas. Yeah.
So, how about Sir Rado?
Siguro mahaba, pero basahin ko siguro yung huling stanza. Medyo mabigat din naman yung sinasabi ni Pepe rito, no? I was just the
Actually,
instrument.
lahat mabigat, sir.
But it's actually, sabi ni Pepe, "O Leonor, nagdurugo man ang aking puso, hindi para sa atin ang sinumpaang pangako. Maghihintay pa rin kahit sa kabilang buhay, ang pag-ibig ay hindi mahihimlay, magmamahal at muling magmamahal. Kung di man ngayon, ang bukas ay naghihintay." Alam nyo, sa tulang ito, what we're doing now, ito yung bukas na naghihintay. We're trying to relive and reborn the love and life of Leonor and Pepe through Hedda and me, or through everyone who is reading this poetry.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Rado. How about Ma'am Hedda? You read the poem of Sir Alwyn with so much emotion, and if you can give us a sample, maybe it's a line of the poem, yung pinaka nagustuhan mo sa
Okay.
pinagustuhan mong linya.
Mag-emote na naman ako.
Magiging Leonor ka uli.
Okay. Huling alaala na dulot ng iyong liham. Sana sa aking pagwalay, abo nito'y makasama. Upang kahit sa libingan, tayo'y magkaisa. Paalam, Times, mahal na kaisa-isa. That's it.
Wow. Okay. Talagang tumatatak yung time is paalam, time is. Right. And I was looking at the reaction of Sir Alwyn earlier while you were reading the poem Ma'am Hedda. Parang, oh, wow. A lady is
She's possessed.
Yes.
with Leonor.
Talagang Leonor na Leonor. Okay, so there is so much that I have learned from this conversation, and for sure, all our viewers will be learning a lot of things, and then they will be. I hope that this would also ignite their passion and their compassion towards our country, and their compassion towards nation building. Okay, there is so much that we can do, and thank you so much, Sir Alwyn, for the time. Thank you so much, Sir Rado, Sir Hedda. I know that you're very busy. I know that how hectic your schedule is, but you really came for this interview. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I don't have I could not give you any talent fee. Okay,
No.
but okay, but I am really hoping that I could be with you in this project, and that we would. I think the only talent fee that I could promise you is that I'm going to do my best also to help you in our advocacy for nation building. Okay, there's so much potential for the Filipinos. There's so much potential for the Philippines, and I'm glad that I found people like you who are very passionate about rebuilding or building our country so that we would be able to rise again, rise Philippines. Heads.
Rice
Okay.
Filipino.
So, any closing statement you would like to give to our viewers, Sir Alwyn?
Well, thank you for this opportunity that you've given us. You given us this opportunity to talk about the project and our dreams, and hopefully, with this kind of medium, we're able to touch the hearts and be romantic again, and be able to see the beauty of Filipino literature. Because even though we're not in the Philippines anymore, that should not limit us from appreciating the beauty of our language, beauty of our emotions, and also to be able to learn from Rizal's love and Leonor's love to each other.
Okay, thank you, sir. How about Sir Rado?
Unang-unang sa lahat, nagpapasalamat ako sa iyo, Phil, sa Random Tales at kay Sir Alwyn at kay Hedda. Ang mensahe namin para sa mga nakikinig sa aming mga kababayang Pilipino, pangarap namin, panalangin at hangad natin na sana bilang isang Pilipino tayong lahat ay magtulungan, magkaisa, maiangat natin ang ating identidad bilang isang Pilipino. At sa ginagawa natin ito sa pamamagitan ng pag-promote ng literatura at buhay ni Rizal at kasama na rin si Leonor. We really hope to inspire. The word from me is really inspiration. If there is one Filipino who is able to get inspiration out of this mini project, out of this poetry reading, out of this exchange of poetry between Pepe and Leonor, you know what? We have achieved one goal, that is to inspire a Filipino to become a better Filipino. And you know what? I'm really happy to inform Sir Alwyn, Hedda, and you feel I'm getting so many feedbacks na event na even yung buhay ni Leonor, we're able to help them educate. Hindi nila pala alam masyado yung buhay ng pag-iibigan ni Leonor at ni Rizal. That thing alone is an achievement in itself. And then more especially yung makarinig ako ng isang mga feedbacks na in love ulit sila. Para bang ang sarap muling magmahal. That's an inspiration. And that's our hope na after this, after you watching this, and after you listening to our poetry, you will move to another journey, to another deeper, meaningful journey, and that is to find who you are as a Filipino. And you know what? It is start in our hearts. And yan ang mensahe ng tula ni na Pepe at Rizal at na Pepe at Leonor, yung pag-ibig na nanggagaling sa puso. At ang pag-ibig din ay hindi lang kinakailangan sa isang nilalang, nanggagaling din yan sa pag-ibig natin sa ating inang bayang Pilipinas. So maraming salamat at naway patuloy ang ating advokasya at pagmamahal in our own little ways. We can make big things in our own little ways to help our country, the Philippines. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Pagpalain ng Pilipinas.
Okay, thank you, Sir Rado. And let's hear from Ma'am Hedda.
Okay. But so my advocacies have always been founded and grounded on a call, Rise Filipino, and it's because I feel like there's so much division in our country, especially politically, and I feel like the arts, our culture, our language, okay, the love of our language, okay, yung pagmamahal sa wikang Filipino could probably kind of help, okay, address such a challenge. And then at the same time, I really feel for the younger generation. We are a nation of 100 million people. 10 million of us are outside the country. So how do we get our younger generation to learn more about our country? Kasi I feel like the arts, the true artists in our country are not given the opportunity to let out their gifts in order to help influence and to upgrade the cultural consciousness of our people about who we are, about what we stand for. Okay, who are we as a Filipino? So I'm hoping, kasi like the media, like for instance, okay, the films, the movies that we're watching, they more or less, okay, so much romanticization of poverty, and that should not be who we need to package ourselves as. And so sana through this effort, through this project, mas maraming artists, okay, that would rise to the challenge and give some more of their gifts, because there's so much out there. And sana the other people who are given the opportunity and such generosity and such gifts, that they would also invest time, energy in order to absorb and these, okay, products and gifts of arts. And that's what I hope, okay, that we could do with this project. Rice Filipino.
Okay, so indeed, today's interview has been so fruitful. There are so many things, there's so many takeaways that I have. And as I have mentioned earlier in the middle of the interview, I did not know that this is going to go this far. When we started, when I said that yes, I'm going to feature your Valentine's special. And I hope that our viewers will be very eager to watch the premiere of Walang Kamatayang Pagmamahal ni na Pepe at Leonor. And I hope that this conversation is going to ignite your excitement that more than the love story of Pepe and Leonor, there is so much love for our country, love for our countrymen, that this uh, project is pushing forward to. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for being with us with this interview, and thank you so much, Sir Alwyn, Sir Rado, and Ma'am Hedda. Okay, until next
Thank you.
time, I wish good
Mhm.
luck and we're looking forward to bigger projects for you. Uh, at sana ay ah, may bahagi niyo pa sa iba ang pagmamahalan ni Pepe at Leonor.